Good morning, I'm Lynn, and welcome to another day at Ewetopia Farms. We didn't get up a video yesterday because we did what we hadn't planned on doing. So watch the video to find out what that was. And right now we haven't gotten any of our rain and it's getting dry again. But it's threatening, so fingers crossed yet again, or still never ends. Anyway, let's go into the barns and see what's happening out there today. And so yesterday we spent the day watching the classic sale go on. We want to see how the prices were doing and gives us an idea of what we should be charging for our sheep. I think we are definitely undercharging on the Suffolks, and I think we are probably bang on with the Dorsets. Maybe we shouldn't be watching shows like that because it always gets us motivated to search for something new to add to our flock, because you're always looking for fresh genetics. And in the yearling ram category, we found a ram that we liked a lot. So we spent a nerve-wracking day watching how prices went yesterday. And like I say, like some breeds, it's very obvious when you watch a sale and a show combined. We like those better than just the online sales, because the online sales are just a sheep and you can look at it on a video or whatever, but at a show as well, you got someone who's actually placing the sheep as they go through the ring first, so you have a second person's opinion and you can see them lined up against other sheep, so you have visual comparisons yourself. That's why we like the classic. I found the turnout was really poor this year, and I blame that on the fact that so many people are doing their own personal online sales before the classic, and I think everybody's got their sheep at that point, which is really too bad, because I think we should be promoting the All Canada Sheep Classic, because it's something to strive for. It's something Canadians as a whole can do to promote the Canadian sheep. And also, like I say, it allows for competition. And when you've got competition, you are going to start improving, because nobody likes to lose. However, if you don't place as well as your opponent, it gives you something to strive for. What I did like about the classic this year is that there were no tall sheep. Everybody was moderately sized. The tall sheep went all in private sales. I don't know how they sold price wise. I'm guessing not too well, but maybe someone can correct me on that. But the sheep at this sale were all very similar style to ours, which was really nice, very practical. I have to say that people in Western Canada tend on the whole to be more practical oriented, because they are true farmers out there. Not that there aren't true farmers here in Ontario and Quebec and stuff, but out there, most of the people who have sheep are actual farmers. They're running them like we do, hundreds of them. A lot of them are out on pastures, running ranges, so they have to be practical and efficient. So I really, really like the Western shows and was very pleased to see the sheep there. I thought they were all nice. But it also showed you which sheep are the most popular, not only by the number of entries of that breed, but also by the numbers they sold for. So judging from the classic itself yesterday. The number one breed was Suffolks. And with that many Suffolks in the show, you would have expected maybe that some of the ones who placed at the bottom of the classes would sell very, very cheap because there were so many of them, and there were so many private online sales as well this year. However, the Suffolks held up extremely well in the price range. Nobody went cheap. We were kind of hoping that maybe the rams would go a little cheaper because, of course, we were bidding on a Suffolk ram. So we did end up purchasing a ram. I did the bidding via phone with a bidder at the sale. So when the sheep before the one we were looking at came into the ring, he phoned me from British Columbia, and we waited for that ram to go through. And the one that went through ahead of ours was the champion Suffolk ram. We didn't bid on him, although he was extremely nice. The reason we didn't choose to bid on him, however, is because he had a lot of black fiber in his wool. And we're at the stage now where we're really nitpicking on breed type, as I've told you. Now, one thing with breed type with the first place ram, we have lots of that genetic in our farm already, and they have extremely beautiful heads. So he had a beautiful head, he had beautiful conformation, couldn't take anything away from him, a beautiful ram. But the black wool was all throughout the wool, and it's taken us years to get rid of that black wool, and it's not something you can tolerate it in a ewe because she's just one and she may not pass it on too heavily, but a ram could throw it onto your whole flock again. Just didn't want to go there. So we actually did prefer the second place ram. He was the reserve champion Suffolk, and we don't have his bloodlines here, whereas we did have the first place ram's bloodlines here. And he was from Second Chance. He didn't have a name, so he's a K year, so I've decided to call him Knockout. He's a big blocky ram. I was talking to the breeder, who is from Alberta. Second Chance is their flock name. And when I asked him to describe that ram, he said he was not extreme on anything, like not extremely tall, not extremely short, not extremely long. But when he described him, I kind of had the feeling of Snappy. Snappy was always one of those rams people would come to the farm and not notice him because he kind of was average, but he was perfect on all of its averages. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but from what this guy was telling me, I kind of got the feeling that that's how he thought of this ram. And he also had a private sale and held this ram back just for the classic because he thought he'd do really well on a purebred flock. And as they went through the show, we tagged him out as the one we liked. We also liked one of the Happy Hollow rams as well. But we have those here. Quincy and Hilton are from there. So we decided to bid on this Second Chance guy. And of course, it seems every sheep we bid on is the one that everyone wants. So the guy phoned me and I was on the phone. I told Arnie, because we were watching it on the computer, to take pictures of the computer of the ram that we were bidding on. But he was so nervous that he wasn't able to take pictures, and I had to go into the kitchen so I could hear on the phone, and I didn't want to drop the call and lose the ram. So I'm on the phone with the bidder. Arnie was giving me thumbs up as the price went up and up and up and up, and it was going fast. Like, it wasn't like 100. It wasn't like 600. I have 600. Does anyone have 650? How about 625? and kind of dwindling and dawdling through. This one went, okay, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. Do we have 2,000, 2,000, 3,000? It was just going sky high. So yeah, we ended up paying $3,800 for them. But it sounds like a lot. But it's like I tell people who buy our $1,000 rams when they complain. We just got our check from the sales barn, and we're getting like $4 a pound for lambs. And these are the lambs that are going to market. They're not our best ones. So on $100, on 100-pound lambs, that's $400 a lamb. So we figure a ram is easily worth 3 market lambs. And that's really generous. So when we buy a $3,800 ram, he's paid off pretty quickly at our farm. To be honest, he's paid off pretty quickly at anyone's farm. People just can't wrap their head around it for some reason. Right now they managed to find a trailer for him for a guy who bought a ram going to New Brunswick, and he drives by here, so he agreed to put our ram on the trailer. So he's heading across country right now. So I'm not sure when they'll get here, maybe 5 days. Anyway, we'll be sure to show you when he pulls up, because it's always exciting when you get a new ram, new bloodlines, something fresh. This guy coming, he looks like a heavy ram, like a high capacity, big bulky boy. And he's a yearling, like I said, but he was born in May, so he's just a yearling. He's a little bit younger than the others that were in the show, because most of them would have been January born. So we're excited about that. So I'll tell you what the difference is between the private sales auctions that people host at their farms or as a group. They're online timed auctions, so there's no show involved. The sheep are all displayed. You can look at them a few days in advance. You can see a couple of pictures and maybe a 5-second video of them walking, and that's about it. Some of them you're allowed to go to the farm if you're close enough, but the point of the online sales is that people don't have to go all the way to them. And once the bidding commences, usually the bidding is up for 1 to 2 days, and you can bid all day long, and it's a timed auction. So say it was going to close at 9 o'clock. If people are still bidding, and I think the cutoff is if there hasn't been a bid placed within 1 minute or 2 minutes, they don't close the sale down. So generally people don't bid till the very end, because they assume that they will get a better deal at the end. But I find at the end now the prices are going to go wild. So basically when the sale's about to end, everyone starts bidding, and it can go on for hours afterwards. So if you don't get the ram that you really wanted, the price is going too high, you always have the option of going down the list and picking your second choice, your third choice, fourth choice, whatever, and keep bidding till the very, very end, so you can see what the prices are and bid accordingly. So that's the online timed auction sales. Whereas at the classic, where it's a show and a sale, the sheep are all shown the day before, and they're placed and ranked in their group. The following day, they go through the sales ring according to how they placed at the show for their breed. And you have one chance to get the sheep. And they start with the top and they go down. So if you wanted to bid on the champion ram, you only have one chance. So if You got to have it in your head what you want to pay, and if you lose it, he's gone. You have to basically go to your second choice, if you have a second choice, or your third choice. But then the pressure's on too. So say you really had to get a ram and you wanted now the second place one. Sometimes, depending on who's bidding that day, the second place one can go even higher because they've lost the first one and now they're in a panic because they got to get a ram. So it always depends on who's there. But you have to basically decide who you want, and that's once they've gone through. You can't wait till the end to see how the prices are and bid them up later. It's now or never, and sometimes you have just minutes to get your decisions made and the money forked out. So that's how it's a little bit different. A little more pressure on the live sales like at the Classic, because if you snooze, you lose. But like I said, the plus of it is that if this was a lineup of sheep, you can really get a view of what the sheep looks like. If you're just seeing a picture of one sheep, he can look fantastic. But if you have him with no comparison, it's really hard to make a fair judgment, because he might be a fantastic little sheep. He might be a fantastic large sheep. Medium, like you really don't know where his size category is. And when you've got a photo or a 5-second video, knowing how he naturally stands like that is much more difficult too. So that is why we absolutely prefer a sale with a show, because we get to see breeds from all over the country and compare them side by side. That part makes your life so much easier. There's really no guesswork involved. At that point, it's personal preference, what you like. And here you are again. I know, every time we got to visit with you, because you're very demanding. Yeah, you are. And hi, who are you? Are you demanding too? Not really. You just want to say hello? Because you're beautiful. Yeah, you are. Yeah. And I was talking about what were the popular breeds and maybe not so much popular. It's quite evident by numbers, like I said. The Suffolks were the most represented breed at the sale. I think there were 50 some of them. And they were followed by Dorsets, were second most represented, I believe. And then the breeds go down from there. As far as top sellers, however, numbers don't always match up with top sellers, but the Suffolks for sure were held up in numbers and in prices. We got the second highest place sheep at the sale, I believe. And like I said, when you're bidding at the sale, once you've lost yours, you don't get a second chance at them. So if you really needed a ram, you're gonna have to bid maybe on your second or third or fourth choices even. So we thought we were gonna top the sale as far as prices go, but Jordan's had, I think he was a ram lamb, and someone bought him from New Brunswick, I believe, for $5,000. So he was the top seller. Crazy for a lamb. So as long as nothing happens to that lamb and he doesn't fall apart, yeah, even a $5,000 ram pays itself back in good genetics, improving your flock, and just in market lambs alone. However, we tend to avoid buying ram lambs just because they can fall apart. As a lamb, they can look fantastic, and at a year old, something went wrong. Their bones didn't hold up. They just didn't grow on, eating on their own and stuff. Those ram lambs at the show are fed really heavy because, of course, you want show sheep to look really flush. So, a very, very scary investment in our opinion. But no doubt that the ram lamb was a beautiful ram lamb. I can see why they liked him. But scary. It's scary enough buying a $3,800 one and sending him across country. But anyway, the sheep that didn't do well at the sale, there are some surprising ones. The Dorpers, they had some nice Dorpers there. They sold really poorly. I always feel bad when I see the show sheep who people have put the extra feed, time training, they've done the registrations and the pedigrees, and they have to pay a commission to sell at these sales too. And when they go for market lamb prices or even less than market lamb prices, I feel terrible for them. And that's what happened to a lot of the Dorpers and some of the older breeds. Don't anyone get mad at me if I make a mistake, but I think Shropshires didn't do too well, and Romneys. These are old breeds. And people have always asked us about some of the older breeds and what we think of them and stuff like that. And our answer is always there's a reason that there's not many of them anymore. Because all sheep are nice and cute, and all sheep can be used for meat purposes or wool purposes. But some breeds just aren't as practical as others as far as popularity, meat production, motherliness, size, whatever the reasons. Horns, the horn Dorset did not sell well. People don't want horns anymore. Wool has little value except to hobby people, and hobby people aren't spending big money on sheep in general. Dorpers, I don't know why they didn't do well, but they didn't. And yeah, these are breeds I'm thinking that are just not popular in Canada anyway. Some of the top selling breeds though were Suffolks. Dorsets were middle ground. They fell a little bit this year, I found. Not as highly priced as other years, but there have been a lot of private sales with Dorsets in them, so maybe the market was saturated. I'm not sure. They still got good money for them, kind of what we're charging for our sheep. Charolais did really well. They're kind of like a Texel-y type breed. Real meat producers, not large sheep as in height, but large in muscle. And there's not a lot of them. So if your breed is not so common, but it's a practical breed, like you can use those Charolais to put them onto your commercial flock, again like Suffolks, and to get more of that muscling. So they sold really high, plus the breeders of them are really good. So they sold high too. And North Country Cheviots did pretty good as well. They do well, I think, out in Western Canada because, like I said, they're out on the range. They don't have an awful lot of lambs, maybe more in the Dorset type lamb percentage range, like maybe the 1.6, 1.5 thing. But they're very, very, very hardy. And they have good meat and they're good moms because they don't have as many lambs to look after. And they can go out on those prairies and do well. So I can see why those sold well at the show too. Not to mention they're a very beautiful breed. Yeah, Suffolk ewes were going really, really good prices at the sale. Like the top end ones and the low end ones. It does always amaze me when ewes go for $2,000, $2,000 plus, because a ewe is a much more risky proposition. She's one influence in your entire flock. You don't know if she's going to prolapse her first year. You don't know if she's going to raise singles her whole life, if she's going to have a good udder. There's just so many unknowns with a ewe. So on a $2,000 ewe, unless you're selling, if she had $2,000 ram lambs, she'd pay off. But if she only managed to produce market quality lambs, it's a much longer term payback. It does add new genetics to your flock, but we've had really bad luck buying in ewes. Of course, when we started, we had to buy in ewes, but we've had so many problems with bought in ewes. They also carry more diseases. Whereas if you buy a ram, he has the ability to affect tens, 20s, hundreds of your sheep, depending on how you're using him. So you really can't go wrong on a ram ever unless he died before you bred him. And that can happen with anything. But a lot of $2,000 plus ewes were sold yesterday. And yes, beautiful ewes. I have to say, in my opinion, that the sheep at the sale were just gorgeous sheep, and it's nice to see that Canadian breeders can raise such beautiful animals that are practical and efficient and beautiful. Wanted to comment on why some sheep may not sell as well at the sales also, or why people don't want them. And a lot of it will be how well they've been promoted. So if you have a less common breed, you gotta promote it a lot more heavily for people to recognize it, go to the shows, put it on YouTube, whatever, so people can see it and see why maybe that's a breed to look into. However, the downfall on the less popular breeds is genetics. If you have an uncommon breed, or a breed people aren't really too keen on right now, getting genetics is difficult. So it means investing in AI and semen, which is expensive, very costly to do, not 100%, and a real downfall to a breed that's not common. So Suffolks are all over the world. I think the #1 breed in the world. So genetics are not a problem. You can get Suffolk genetics usually in every country, and there's a lot of breeders mixing and matching, so you should always be able to find an outcross. Dorsets are growing, and people are importing semen from Australia and New Zealand, so they're getting a little more genetic diversity. But like Shropshires and Clun Forest and Dorpers, there's not a big variety in genetics. And inbreeding is the problem, and you don't want to be inbreeding your sheep. So the less you have of a breed, if you're thinking, oh, this is a breed I want to invest in, a lot of people don't consider, how am I going to get my new rams? Because if you're the only breeder in the country, or there's only 2 of you or 3 of you, your gene pool is going to get very small very quickly, and then you get into problems. And usually always, though, the most popular breeds are the most profitable breeds. So after this, I'm going to post the picture of knockout. And thank Warren Moore for breeding this boy for us. And we'll definitely be getting more footage and lots of footage as he joins our farm and arrives in a few days, hopefully. One thing also nice about the sheep in Western Canada is that they're not pampered. They are working sheep. And as much as people will say we pamper our sheep, I just pamper them with hugs and petting and attention. We don't pamper them with their feed. These are working sheep. They have to do well by eating natural products and be able to fend well in a group of sheep and be able to go from feed systems to pasture and do well on everything. And that's how they are out west too. So we usually don't have any problems with working sheep coming to the farm. So today we're doing something we weren't sure we were going to do, but the All Canada Classic's on in BC right now, and we're not there, but we're going to be bidding today. So it just started now.
We come to buy 16, 17 back. 17 and 17 and 18. 18 and 17. You're just getting warmed up. 1700. Here's 1800. 17 and 18 and 17 and 18. 1700. What about 17 and a half? I'm saving you money. 1700, 1750. And 17 and a half. One more bid. Might get it done. 1700, 1750. And 17 and a half. 1700 now. 17 and a half. 1750. So, 1700.
Champion of his class.
And here's law number 47. Law number 47.
This is just to show you what the difference in sales they are with Horn Dorset and Polled. So this is a Horn Dorset ram. Where is he? This is a ram lamb. Horn Dorset. Champion.
Internet's on at 575, going to be 600, 600 on 575, 575, 600, 600 on 575, 575, 600, 575, 600, 575, and 600. Sold it for $575. Thank you, Connor. Going to Candiac, Saskatchewan.
Okay, so that was an example of what a Horn Dorset would sell for. That was the champion at the Classic, horned, and I'll videotape the Poll Dorsets that are coming up now too.
50 now, 900, and 875 will do it.
This is the reserve champion Poll Dorset ewe lamb.
900, 875,
fall ewe lamb.
9 a quarter, 925, 9 and a quarter, 950, 925, 950, working for it. 925, 950, 975, 950, 75, now 1,000, 1,000, 975, and 1,000, then 1050, 10, 10 and a half, $1,000. Oh, you put up a good fight. 1050, 10, 10, 50, 1,000, 10, 50, 10, now 1050. Sold it on the internet, $1,000. VLMS. Thank you, Colton. Great support here today. Appreciate it. Colton McIntosh, Manitoba.
Lot number 62, Poll Dorset Ram.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived at lot 62, Supreme Champion, Grand Champion Ram, Supreme Champion, Senior Ram as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we go with the Bryan family. Yearling Ram, Dorset Polled, and you mark down lot 62, the fire bills on 2,000. Well, $1,000, let me go. 1,000, take a 500, let me go. 500 here, 600. 500, now 6. 500, 600 there. 500, 600, 500, 600 will do it. 500, 600 now 7. 700, 800 map. 700, 7 now 8. 700 now 8. What about 750? 750, 800. 800, 850. 850 now 900. 900, 950. We're having a sale. $1,000. 950 to 1,000. 1050. 10 I have 1,100. 1050 now 1150. 1150 now 12. 12 out of 12 out of there. 1250. 12 out of 13. 12 and I have a 13. We're putting the brakes on. 12 and a half. What about 1,300? 1250 to 13. 13. Well, 13 and a half. 13 and a half. Now 1,400, sir. 13 and a half. 14. 14 now half. 14 and a half. 1,500. 15 and a half. 1,500. 15 and a half. 15 and a half. 1,550. You started this. 1,600. 16 and a half. 16. We come to buy 16 and a half. 16 and a half. 16 and a half. 1,600, 1,650. I think so. 1,700. And then it is 17 and it is 16 and a half. 17. 17 and a half. 17 and it is 17 and a half. 1,700. 1,750. Matt Taylor to go ahead. 17 and a half. 17 and 18. 17 and 18. 18 and 18 and a half. 1,800. 1,850. 18 and 18 and a half. And 1,850. I think so. 1,800. 1,850. We're okay. 18 and 18 and a half. And 1,800. And a half, and 18 and a half, and 18 So, 1,800. Thank you, guys. It's 1,800. Buyer 495.
He's the supreme champion of the entire show. Right now, we've got a yearling ram in here,
23, 24,
Dorset, and he's related to Gimli.
28, 28, 708, that's the battle. 2,700. Thank you, guys. Sarah, you did it. 2,700. Buyer number.
The last two rams
Great work, you guys. Buyer number 4,
went for more than the supreme champion.
2,700.
And we're going to guess the reason for that was that the supreme champion didn't have very nice back
lot number
legs.
61, Briar Glen, QROPP negative in the ring.
And this is QR. This one might hurt because of the QR.
Is where we've arrived now. Look at this guy right here, yearling ram, Dorset polled, and you're staying right with Briar Glen.
Oh, he looks like
number 61. The yearling ram. 1,000.
This one's related to Gimme too.
700 here. 700. What about 500 to start? 500 here. 500 here. 550. 500 500 down 50. 500 500 down 50 there. 500 550. 5 and a half. Better ram, guys. 500 550. 500 now. 500 550. At $500. What about 550? 500 now. 525. 500. 5 and a quarter. 25, 500 now 25, 520, 500 now 25, and I sold it, Mr. Rodley, $500. Thank you,
Goodness.
Buyer. 500. We're going to buyer number.
I would have paid that.
I should remember that.
Except that he was a QR.
500. 486.
Wow.
Thank you, partner.
That's a
Buyer
steal.
number 486 at 500. Buyer
Steal.
486. 550. 550. 550 zone. 500. 400. 4.5. 400. 400. Here's 450. 450 zone. 400. 4.5. You got to be 500. I took the internet at 450. You got to be 500. 400. 4.5. You got to be that. You got to be 500. The internet's on at 450, gonna be 5. 455.
We're on the Suffolks now. I forgot to tape the expensive ones because these are the bottom of the young ewe lambs. The top end ones were going for used $2,000-$3,000, really high, $1,500, stuff like that. So we're pretty nervous about the Suffolk ram we want to bid on. So we just finished bidding. I told Arnie to take a picture of the ram, but he was too nervous and he didn't. These ones are the Happy Hollow ones, like Hilton and Quincy. They're being bid right now. We bought a ram from Second Chance, and so far we topped the sale. He was $3,800. You can see he looks a bit like Quincy. But we'll have to show you his picture later. So, I guess that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed our little review of the Classic and showing and online sales and all that stuff. What do you have to say, Arnie? Any goodbye messages?
Well, people probably can't wait to see their new member for Ewetopia Farms.
That's right. I did a whole video on it. You'll have to watch it.
Sounds like retirement.
What does?
The new guy coming.
Yeah, that sounds like not retirement.
We need to tell them the real story.
What's that?
We said for 12 months we'd never buy another ram this year.
Yeah.
And we look at a TV program for 2 hours and buy one.
I told him that.
Kind of like going shopping.
Yeah, we said the best thing is not to look at what's out there because it's going to get us pumped up again.
That's why I can't go to the John Deere dealership and look at a new John Deere tractor.
Yeah.
Because I can't have it.
That's right. What you don't see, you don't miss. Anyway, we're going to call that a day. Thanks for joining us. If you found this video informative and you enjoyed your time here, be sure to give us a like, share it with your friends, send us a comment, and be sure to join us again tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
For the next episode.
Ewetopia Farms. Ewetopia Farms.
He's not well trained yet. Bye for now.